Hello everyone and welcome back to my The General Hospital 24 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Sasha meets with Maxie at the Boit. Sasha shows her the print from her sonogram, and also reveals she decided to stay on at the Quartermaines. Maxie says if she changes her mind, there's always space for her and the baby at her house. Sasha says she'll need her job, and while she can support her and her child, she's sorry she made problems for Maxie's capability to take care of her kitties. Sasha brings up her blowing up deceptions deal with Sidwell and tells Maxie that she shouldn't let her issues with him stop her from doing business with Sidwell. She says she overreacted, Sidwell didn't brutalize her, and it was all her mama's fault. She tells Maxie not to let this affect what's stylish for deception. Maxie says she's given her a lot to suppose about. At the sanitarium, Tracy asks Liz if Stella is still then, but Liz says she left. Liz asks how Monica is doing. Tracy says she's having a good day. Tracy just hopes she doesn't find out that Drew plans to move her hubby from his final resting place. Liz can't believe it as Monica was the bone who accepted Drew into the family. Tracy says Monica is in agreement with her for formerly, and Drew is no longer a member of their family. At the Quartermaine vault, Ezra has arrived with a sheriff and a construction chief who has a bulldozer. Trina asks what's going on. She rents the apartment above the garage and is trying to study, but they're making noise. Ezra explains they're then to demolish the vault. Gio and Emma show up, and Ezra serves them the legal papers ordering the obliteration. Gio says he's not a Quartermaine, none of them are. Monica owns the property, so she has to be served. Emma says the family is fighting this, but Ezra says nothing, and no bone can stop this structure from coming down. Back at the sanitarium, Yuri calls Tracy about the bulldozer ready to tear down the vault. He holds the papers that he was just served. Back at the vault, the sheriff says he has served Yuri the paperwork but feels it's still not legal as he isn't the proprietor of the house. Ezra doesn't care and tells the construction crew to get started. Emma tells Gio and Trina to stall and runs off. Trina begins recording on her phone, and she and Gio point out there are family remains in there, and exhuming them isn't just unethical but a health violation. The construction chief says he doesn't deal with dead bodies and walks off. Gio says he's a registered namer and unqualified and believes his ingredients would be fried by his treatment of the Quartermaine family members' remains. Ezra says there's no point in delaying this. Suddenly, Emma returns and chains herself to the vault door and says they'll gash this structure down over her dead body. Ezra tells the sheriff to arrest her. Tracy arrives and threatens to call her friend, the judge, and report the sheriff to him if he lays a hand on that youthful lady. Emma meanwhile tells Trina to make sure she records everything and tells Gio to call her grandmother. Ezra again orders the sheriff to arrest Emma, but Tracy says if the sheriff goes near her that she'll have his emblem. Tracy sits next to Emma and symbolically chains herself to the youthful woman using her lengthy rope choker. Tracy tells Trina, who's recording everything, that this has nothing to do with guarding the terrain and is about Congressman Kane's vendetta against her family. Anna eventually arrives and is stupefied to see Emma chained to the tomb and asks why. Emma says she's fighting for what's right. Ezra asks Anna if she's going to do her job and remove her granddaughter and Tracy. Anna asks for the obliteration order, reads it, and says to cost the bolt knives. Anna tells Emma and Tracy she's sorry, but the law is the law. In Drew's office, he's inked Kai up for further speeches for the sports action. He tells Kai that people love him and he has a lot further to offer than football. Kai notes that's good as he's no way going pro. Drew asks if he's sure about that. Kai tells him his injury prevents it, and Trina's helped him come to terms with it. Drew asks if there was a way to play football safely, would he take it? Kai would. Drew explains he knows a lot of specialists around the world, including one who might be suitable to help him. Kai says he doesn't have the plutocrat or coffers for such a croaker. But Drew does. Kai asks why he'd help him. Drew says he sees he has a bright future ahead of him. Kai thinks he must want commodity in return, but Drew doesn't. Drew assumes Trina and Curtis have said effects about him, but he should hear his side of the story first. Drew gives him a brief summary of what occurred between him and Curtis, and says he'd no way ask Kai to choose between him and Trina and Curtis. Kai thinks Drew having a protege in the NFL would be helpful to his career, but what if he pays for the procedure and he still can't play ball? Drew says he still believes football or not, he's going places, and it's an investment in his future. Drew gives him information on the croaker and the surgery, and if he wants this, he should jump on it. The sooner it's performed after the original injury, the better the chances for recovery. Kai thanks him. Lulu drops by the unrestricted Charlie's to see her family, seeing he spends all his time at Liz's and she hardly sees him. He reveals they're planning a trip back to New York, and he was hoping Aiden could stay with her and Mama. Lulu asks if he's sure he wants to do this. Returning to a place that was special to them can be risky, however, it may blemish the memory that means so important to them, if he can't recreate the magic of that first trip. Lucky says this trip isn't about reclaiming the history, but the possibilities of a future. Lulu asks if he's hoping for a future with Elizabeth. He admits he'd like a future with her, but he also knows she might not want to take another chance on him. All he can do is put himself out there and have stopgap. She says he's stalwart than she is, and she doesn't know what she wants. Still, she knows Mama would love having Aiden stay with them. Kristina pounds on Ava's door. Rick, having just made up with Alexis, hides in another room as he doesn't want to ruin his armistice with Kristina's Mama. Ava lets Kristina in, and suggests she not stand near the window. Kristina can't believe she's making a joke about her baby's death. Kristina also asks who she thinks she's dragging her father back to court over Avery. Ava says it's clear Sonny is in no condition to take care of their son. She also points out one of Sonny's adversaries bombed his house, and Avery could have been there. She argues that Avery is better off with her and will ask for an increase in child support to help take care of her. Kristina can't believe she'd use her son this way. Ava says as a mama, she'll do anything to cover her child, commodity she wouldn't know about, as Kristina's not a mama. Ava says it could have been Avery who set up Sonny on the bottom, and if his adversaries know of his condition, it could put Avery in peril should they come after her father. Kristina says it's too late for Morgan, and too late for Adela, but she wouldn't let Ava take her father from her. She says she'll stop her. Kristina storms out, and Ava tells Rick he was a substantiation to Kristina hanging her. Rick admits Kristina's response seems to indicate Sonny's condition is serious, but his family is no way more dangerous when his reverse is against the wall. Of course, Willow will have to accept that Nina's telling the verity, particularly formerly people like Ned, Tracy, Cody Bell, and others on Oil back up the story. Willow's in for a rude awakening soon or latterly, so stay tuned to watch her get updates on some horrifying news.